Welcome to the Model Health Show. This is fitness and nutrition expert Shawn Stevenson here with my amazing co-host and producer, Jade Harrell. What's up, Jade?
What's up, Shawn, darling?
How are you today?
Well, I have to pull from my children's recommendation.
Your children?
Yes. Everybody seems to be getting in on this. They're like, well, you know what? You should say this. So this one is from the 10 and 11-year-old. Fantawesome.
Fantawesome.
I am so fantawesome today. They were accurate.
Okay, so
you know
what is
that
it?
is.
Break
Fantastic and awesome.
It was pretty simple. I could figure that one out. That's awesome.
Right.
Though.
That's right.
Well, I hope that everyone else is doing fantawesome today.
Yes.
We've got an incredible show lined up for you today. And today is actually a bonus show.
Okay.
It's a bonus episode that we're putting out during the week. So you're going to see your phone. You're going to be like, what is this?
Exactly.
Got some extra from Shawn. Just to show you guys a little bit of extra love. And I've got a good friend on, somebody that I've known for many years and somebody who's helped me tremendously just with the strategies, you know, especially with traveling, with a busy lifestyle, with having a family, to really make sure that my nutrition is in an optimal level. He's an incredible human being, and we're going to bring him on in just a moment. But first, let's give a huge shout out to our show sponsor, Onnit.com. Head over to ONNIT/model for 10% off all of your health and human performance supplements. I just got off of another plane, and every time I fly, I make sure that I load up on my Shroom Tech Immune, which the basis of that formula is chaga mushroom. And chaga has thousands of years of documented history for its efficacy and effectiveness. And now here's one of the most important things is that it's been found to increase your natural killer cells activity. So you got like these built-in ninjas in your system to take out any nefarious substance that you're exposed to. It's basically, these are immune system weapons to create whatever's needed to defend your body against any kind of pathogen or virus, whatever you might be faced with. It's like a training for your immune system that you get through chaga mushroom. So it boosts your NK cells activity 300%, right? Which is just phenomenal. And it's also the highest antioxidant food/herb that you're going to find. It's the top thing. Antioxidants equal anti-aging, all right? So the Shroom Tech Immune, one of my favorite things, also has turmeric in there, which we've talked about many times on the show, the power of turmeric and the anti-angiogenesis properties that it has, being able to cut off the blood supply to cancer cells and all kinds of great stuff that you're going to be able to find clinically there. Wonderful product. Also, they have Shroom Tech Sport.
That's our stuff.
Which is the pre-workout/pre-life.
Pre-life.
If you need that little boost, if you need that edge, but it's not like an energy drink that's going to spike you out and have you, running around, running circles. But it's a natural, calm, rejuvenative, healing energy based on cordyceps mushrooms. And cordyceps also, about 5,000 years of documented history, proven now today to increase the oxygenation of your cells, to improve your insulin sensitivity, and also just to boost your athletic performance as well. So really great. That's my pre-workout. So those are two things to check out, as well as the other foods and supplements and workout equipment.
That's right.
Huge fan of their stuff.
I
just got the big red battle rope.
Did you get the rope?
Yeah, I've got the battle rope.
So
much amazing stuff. Head over to ONNIT/model. Head over to ONNIT.com/model. That's Onnit.com/model for 10% off. Now let's get into the iTunes review of the week.
Good stuff. And I love this one too, Shawn. It says, thank you, Shawn and Jade. It's a 5-star rating. Love to get these from Tony Moreno. Hey guys, I'm a listener from Idaho. Hello, Idaho. I'm really enjoying the podcast. Recently started listening to podcasts this year on my headphones during my workout. It started my thirst for self-improvement, and naturally, I was attracted to your show. It has been very informative, and it has really changed my life and myself and my family. I have started to implement ideas into my lifestyle from listening to your shows. I have even gone back and listened to some of your episodes 2 to 3 times just to make sure I really soak in the great information. Thank you, Shawn and Jade, for all the life-changing ideas and knowledge that you provide. It's very motivating to hear you guys speak on any subject. It's a perfect blend of just what I need in my life. Jade, you're the perfect accent to the show. You guys are like a lamb and tuna fish sandwich, LOL, movie reference. Keep up the great work. And again, thanks for all that you do for us. I can't say enough great things about you too. You are an inspiration.
That is so incredible. Lamb and tuna fish sandwich.
That's us.
I know that's from a movie. I just can't remember which movie it is.
We got to find it.
Lamb and tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
You're going to remember in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, but thank you so much for leaving that review. And everybody, thanks for heading over to iTunes and leaving those reviews for us. Truly does mean the world. Thank you so much. Now let's go ahead and get into our topic of the day and our special guest. Today we're going to be talking with my good friend Ian Clark, who is the founder and CEO of Activation Products. And these are products that I use every single day for multiple years.
Okay.
And he's a leading edge health expert and an authority on one of the most critical minerals to human health, among other things. So that's one of the great things we're going to be talking about today. So I'd like to welcome to the show my good friend Ian Clark. How you doing today, Ian?
I'm doing great, Shawn. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. So good to see you.
And hear you. You sound
Yeah,
great.
you guys are looking good.
Thank you. You know, we're doing a little something.
That's right.
And I see you there I see you over there in this, like, looks like a studio / torture chamber in that office.
Yes, it can be like that, when you got to do videos around the clock, like I had to do the last few weeks.
So. Yeah. I know you guys just did a huge, incredible launch. And by the way, that reference to the tuna fish and lamb sandwich was from my guy on Big Daddy.
Yes.
The delivery guy.
Too funny.
Like, peace out.
Right.
Hip Hop Anonymous. I remember that.
That's right.
So Ian, man, I just saw you recently in LA, and I knew that you were gearing up for this launch. And what you've put out there recently is an upgrade on the magnesium product that I've been using for many, many years. So let's go ahead and dive in there. Let's talk about. So Ian, let's see. All right. So Ian, just really, really quickly, can you just kind of dive in and share a super summarized version? I know your story is kind of, it's amazing. It's an amazing story of sickness and healing and service. But can you give the condensed version, like the 2-minute version of what drove you to start Activation Products?
Yeah, when I was 46 years old, I hit the wall with my health unexpectedly with multiple issues, a few of them life-threatening. And I was doing really what everybody else was doing around me, so there was no actual reason for it. But I reflected back to 2 of my uncles on my mom's side who died at 51 and 54, both of cancer, literally 2 days apart, 1978. I was 20 years old. So when this happened to me, I went, oh, okay, because I looked like one of them. And I was way overweight. So I just thought, I went to the doctors, of course. The doctors gave me all this bad news and requirement for surgery and drugs and et cetera. And when I phoned my oldest brother, who was a medical doctor, and I asked him about all that, he goes, oh yeah, that's very common. It's nothing unusual. He wasn't shocked at all. He just said, you just need to follow the doctor's orders and do the surgeries, do what they tell you, because you don't know what you're doing. And if you don't, it could easily morph into all kinds of further complications. And the question I had for them was one thing. I said, can you guys at least tell me what is causing this? Is it something that I am doing? What's the story? And I was told point blank, particularly by my brother, he said, I've had thousands of people come through my practice over the years, all different walks of life, all different genetic predispositions. Doesn't matter what you do. You can try to change your diet. You can do this, that, or whatever. You are genetically predisposed to a certain problematic issue. You're hitting all of them at once. Sorry. Uncle Bob and Uncle Don had the same thing. And, it's just a crapshoot. You're not going to be able to do anything. So other than just go to the doctor. So that did not resonate with me at all. And I said, well, I have a feeling that it's what I am doing. And I think I am the one responsible. And if I'm going to hand my responsibility to a doctor who doesn't know me, who's just going to go standard approach, who can't even tell me the cause of the problem, I'm not going down that road. I watched what happened to my uncles. Both of my uncles followed the exact protocol, step by step. They were right on time, almost exactly to where they were told they were going to die. Hit that funeral right on schedule, and they followed Now, why would I take the exact instructions or the advice from some so-called authority if the end result's a funeral? Really? Wow. No, we don't. It just didn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, not at all.
So I just said, no, there's something I'm doing. So, of course, I got to meet people like you, Shawn. You're one of the top-level people that I've met, people that all over the world that I got to selectively meet because I met tons and tons of people that did not have the top-level information. Yeah. And I knew they were out there somewhere. I just didn't know how to find them. But I knew in my mind and my heart they existed.
Yes.
How do I get there? I had to be guided and directed to those people, and I was. So there were no coincidences. And as a result of the learning curve that I went through, the things that I had to suffer and learn and the fun that I had to have on top of it all, right? Because the fun eclipsed the suffering in the end. I got to learn all these things, and my promise was that if I get to be shown where this is and how to do it, I will share this back as much as I can with the world. Yeah. Right? Because, much given, much required. So that's how it ended up.
Wow, phenomenal story. I mean, there's so much there, Ian, and just, it was really profound to say if my end is a funeral, if I follow this approach, a funeral way before my time, then obviously I wouldn't sign up for that class. Let me take a different class. And you brought up some interesting things about epigenetics, for example, and this genetic predisposition that we're all programmed to believe that because, my uncle or my mother or my grandmother has a particular illness, I am already subjected. And now we have genetic testing also to find whether or not you are predisposed to something. And people are taking, we'll just call them pre-surgeries, we're taking a surgery in advance of a disease showing up,
sure.
Right? So we're going to do early detection. And since we found out that you got a genetic predisposition for a particular type of breast cancer, let's just go and remove your breast ahead of time, and not understanding that, through your breast, there are all these lymphatic organs. There's this lymphatic flow, lymphatic glands that is your body's cellular detoxification system. So there's going to be this tremendous blockage there, and you're setting yourself up for other problems. Our approach to things just isn't working out. And this is why I really appreciate the work that you're doing, Ian, because we're looking at how can we influence things on an epigenetic level, that's above genetic control, that actually dictates whether or not our genes activate for a certain disease to turn on or not. This is not written in our cards that it has to happen. So now let's talk about one of the most critical things that a lot of people are missing out on. I think it's like upwards of 80% of our population is deficient in this particular mineral, Ian. So can you talk a little bit about the importance of magnesium and why it's so critical to human health?
Yeah. So you mentioned the 80 percentile of magnesium deficiency. That was declared by the government about 10 to 15 years ago. And what we've now learned is that actually 100% of the people are suffering from magnesium deficiency if they are not consciously daily keeping their levels topped up. And we'll get into how that's done. But the reason that that's so crucially important is because there's more than 320 biochemical enzymatic processes in our body that rely on magnesium as the cofactor in order to function properly. So if you're talking about 24/7 operation, you have 100 trillion cells, estimated at least 1 trillion functions a second at the speed of light within your system, requiring minerals, crystals, communication, and these cofactors. You don't need to be deficient at all. So when they talk about deficient, it's like, how deficient then? They're not telling us how deficient. We know it's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. So if you have a disease or an illness, you're usually going to the doctor at stage 3 with a very serious problem at that point. You didn't even know you had it at stage 1 and stage 2. It's the same with magnesium deficiency. You have symptoms that are within you that you're not picking up yet, but at stage 3 you're going to pick it up. Stage 4 is life-threatening.
Yeah.
So you just want to be running on all 8 cylinders at all times perfectly. Why not?
And this is how important it is. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that it does in your body. So these 300 different processes. So one of them is building your bones, for example. What are some of the other things that magnesium is going to help to cultivate in your system?
Well, you mentioned bones, and of course that's the thing the calcium supplement industry and the calcium dairy product industry focuses on, because they say, you need more calcium for your bones. Overcalcification sucks up the magnesium and makes the bones brittle. So magnesium gives your bones some flexibility, so that's strength. The other things that are going to hit you with are if you start to have the symptom of brain fog, anxiety, any kind of depression that's not related to anything real, or lack of good sleep, a lack of good energy, where you're always having to jack yourself up. Those are very clear signs of magnesium deficiency.
All right. So we've got building the bones. It's also critical for your lung health, for building your blood, right? For your energy. Energy is critical. And by the way, so this is one of the things that's just so fascinating that I discovered about magnesium. And you know how we all talk about ATP, and how important this is. So this is like the energy currency of the human body. This is how our body speaks in terms of energy. So ATP is critical. but it's not ATP. When you look at how it functions in the human body, it's actually MgATP. So it's magnesium binded with ATP is what actually makes it active for us. This is how important magnesium is. It actually enables us to have energy. You know, it's so important and so powerful. And to see so many of us deficient in it is just really hard to fathom. And so let's talk a little bit about supplementation now. You know, I'm a big proponent, and I know you are, of food first. You know, so there's wonderful foods that are rich in magnesium, but in our world today, because magnesium is an anti-stress mineral as well, while we're also so deficient is our body is trying to buffer all the stress and our magnesium gets zapped very quickly. So supplementation, usually we take an oral supplement. So let's talk a little bit about that, why oral supplementation might not be the best way to go for this.
Yeah, so oral supplementation is definitely better than not doing anything.
Yeah.
But it does have significant drawbacks. One of them is it taxes your body every time you take a magnesium supplement, because your kidney has got to deal with the excess and the other things that come in with magnesium supplementation. There are almost no magnesium supplements that we found that were ultra pure. And we're talking pure above a pharmaceutical grade, because pharmaceutical grade still allows a certain number of parts per million of heavy metals and things. And it's the type of magnesium that's the problem. So there's multiple different types of magnesium, and everybody says, "Oh, ours is the best kind."
Right.
But it's the due diligence of the person, the human being that's listening to this podcast, is all about them, because how are they going to discern? Are they just going to take it launch, or can they use their common sense? So we went back to a common sense factor. What would obviously be the perfect type of magnesium for your body would come from ocean water, but it has to be selected and extracted to perfection and purity, because ocean water is not pure, no matter whether you get it from the Dead Sea or down in Utah or from the ocean water. But when you cry, your tears are 1/3 diluted ocean water. That's an interesting thing.
Yes.
So all the fluid in your body is electrolytic fluid, and it's not just water. It's 1/3 diluted ocean water primarily is what you're looking at. So you want to have some magnesium that is found in ocean water, which is magnesium chloride hexahydrate. And that is therefore coming from a water base going to a water base within your system, and your brain knows exactly what to do with that. So we found that was by far the most effective one. So taking oral is not magnesium chloride. And the magnesium chloride that people put through their skin doesn't get to their skin because it's not formulated properly, it's not manufactured right.
Yeah.
So very little gets in. So that's biggest things, lack of bioavailability. Very small percentage is actually being utilized by the body when you do other types of supplementation.
And we can't leave out the bowel tolerance. There's only a certain amount of magnesium that you can consume orally, because it actually pulls more moisture, pulls more fluid to your bowels, which can lead to runny pants, right? It can lead to a diarrhea situation, and you don't want that to happen for you or your kids, and this reminds me of Big Daddy again. And he's like, "My kid's the smelly one in class." And the teacher's like, "We've had many smelly ones, but he is by far the smelliest." You don't want to be that person.
Right.
You want to make sure that you're, obviously, again, the oral magnesium, it's okay, but we want super okay. We want the best. And doing it topically is just going to be a much smarter way to go about it, because you're not going to OD on it. And you got a question, Jim?
I do, and do it subtly.
It's all good.
But if we're zapped so easily, if our magnesium is zapped so easily, and it's tough to get it in and make it bioavailable, make it absorb the way it should, what kind of natural magnesium meter do we have to know how deficient we are and how much we need to be taking in, and in which possible ways? Food, yes, first, but then what does that mean? Is that 2 or 3 bowls of broccoli? Plus I make sure that I rub my armpits and kneecaps. Give us an idea of what our magnesium meter could be.
Right. So that's a great question. So when they did analysis of soil and they did analysis of actual food that people are consuming, since the Second World War, there's been a significant diminishing of magnesium content in food coming out of the gate. Now, if you know your farmer's market, local biodynamic guy, and he's really conscious about soil remediation and all that, you're going to be way ahead of the game. But stress levels, all of the productivity requirement upon us. That is a major draw on magnesium fuel. So, Shawn, you talked about the ATP side of things. And the MG ATP is a very clear example of that, because we're not seeing that currency that our body needs to spend on energy correctly now this is during waking hours as well as sleeping hours. So one of the ways you're going to be able to gauge where you're at with magnesium levels and whether or not you're in that real good zone is how deep of a sleep you're getting. So you're not just going to sleep, you're getting deep delta sleep, because that energy is actually required to have a deep sleep, because your body's doing so much work when you're sleeping, from detoxifying to, finishing the digestion processes from the day, doing all of your DNA repair and healing. You're into parasympathetic. So the deeper you go into parasympathetic, the deeper you go into your deep delta dreams, the more you process all your anxieties or traumas or stressors from the day that was before you, the better you're going to wake up in the morning as a new person. Because you want to wake up in the morning as a new person. So that's one of your big gauges.
Great barometer. And this is where I really utilize. And so for many years now, I've been utilizing the Magnesium Infusion, which we've recently upgraded, which I'm just now getting into. And it's phenomenal. I always travel with it. I'm always talking about it. If we're out and somebody gets into a conversation about sleep hygiene or my sleep practices, having a best-selling book on the subject, I actually cited in the book a particular study showing that individuals who were had clinical sleep problems, aka insomniacs, 100% of them were magnesium deficient.
Wow.
100% of them, right? And so that's when I got into the conversation about the benefits of the magnesium product that you created. And I use this every single night. It's right there by on my nightstand. Every single night right before I go to bed, I rub myself down with that magnesium oil. Maybe somebody rubs me down, my wife, whatever. But we get the magnesium oil in and onto my body, and it also helps with recovery from exercise. I found that to be very beneficial for that as well. But I notice a difference. I already sleep great. I have all these great sleep practices, and even without it, I sleep great. But there's this little extra 1 or 2% that I notice whenever I use it versus when I don't use it, because it's doing something to help to get into that deeper, more rejuvenative anabolic stage of sleep. I think it's phenomenal. So can you talk a little bit about some of the new upgrades that you've done and what the new product is?
Yeah, so we actually have found another supply of a higher level molecular grade. So the pursuit has always been to find the absolute purest of the pure.
Right.
And when you go into these levels, it's like a quarter-mile race car that already broke the 4 seconds. You're not going to get it much faster, but it's still that pursuit. So we were able to capture some costs. We've now doubled the size of the bottle for the same price, which is really cool. And we put an imprint technology to use. So now if people think imprinting is an odd sounding thing, maybe a pseudoscience, it definitely is not. It's a very high-tech way of putting a certain frequency within the product that allows it to even be double where it was as far as absorbability or usability within the system. So when things go into your body, you want them to be able to be held in the tissue long enough to be a fuel source.
Yeah.
So what this does, it allows it to be even more effective as a fuel source. And you mentioned about getting these different ways of gauging and measuring. If you're seeing an improvement every time you use this product, that means you're still deficient. It means you're between stage 1 and stage 4.
Yeah.
So you want to be at stage 0. It takes a while to get back there. So we've had people that put the magnesium on before they went to sleep. The first time they got it, had a much deeper sleep. Others did not, depending on what level they're at. And they had to wait, some people, 1 month to 2 months before they were getting the deep sleep. So everybody's at a different level.
Yes.
So everybody has to be patient with themselves. Because, they're so unique, right? They've got their own unique circumstance.
Yeah. And even though magnesium, and everybody, I just want you to understand this, even though this is so critical for our health, we already mentioned over 300 biochemical processes. This is no way, in any shape or form, a cure-all. This is something that is something that you can add to your overall health strategy, and it's going to affect people differently. Out of everything I've talked about over the years, Ian, more people email me or send me messages on Twitter or Facebook. By the way, I'm at Shawn Model on Twitter. Check me out. And saying how much they are grateful that they found the magnesium product that you created through me talking about it. We did a show many moons ago when I had an older podcast, and I get messages from people saying, I got this because I heard about the energy benefits, but I've been able to dance now, whereas like my arthritis was so bad, I had to stop going to my dance classes. And then some people like, I got it for the pain, but I really got these great benefits with my sleep. My sleep has been so good. I've been having problems sleeping for 20 years. I heard one guy tell me he actually, we had a call together, and he was like, he started taking the magnesium the first night. He noticed a huge difference. And again, this is going to affect people differently. You might not notice a difference, but you can probably be resting assured that you're a little bit or significantly deficient in magnesium just because of, again, the environment that we live in. But if you live like on the top of a mountain or like in the swamp somewhere where the water boy lives, why am I thinking about Adam Sandler today? Playing the football, right? If you're living in a very pristine area and you've got access to real food, chances are you're going to be doing a lot better than the rest of us. But, if we're living in these concrete jungles and, we're desk jockeys and we're dealing with all the stuff that we're all exposed to today, chances are you should definitely get yourself a magnesium supplement. And I highly recommend doing it via topical. And so, Ian, I did ask you if you can hook up my audience with something. Can you share what that would be?
Yeah, we have a special deal for you guys where if you go to Ease Magnesium, the reason we called the new product Ease is because magnesium, right? And it's very easing on your system. So it's easemagnesium.com/model, MODEL.
Awesome. So what are you going to give us? What are you giving us?
Well, you're going to get 10% off right off the bat. So
nice.
You can go on that page. And there's also other pricing specials if they order a little bit more. And the other thing I didn't mention is that we've added scents to a couple of them.
Yeah.
They're very subtle, very high-end quality, organic scents that we put in there.
Yep.
And it's to give a little bit of aromatherapy with it, and it makes you smell nice without being at all overpowering, right?
Nice. So we're adding a little sexiness to our magnesium. That's what I like. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that so much, Ian. Thank you. I mean, again, this is something I use personally, and I truly believe in it. That's why, of course, I asked you to come on and just talk a little bit about it. And I've noticed a tremendous benefit, and I hope other people can get the same benefit that I have, or if it can impact their lives in a different way. But I think it's really something important and valuable, and the conversation is just getting started. You guys are just, many people listening are hearing the first of this, where I really feel that there's going to be a lot more to come, a lot more science to affirm the efficacy of topical magnesium. It's super powerful stuff.
It's been good for us too.
Yeah.
When I was in and out of the airport, visiting my grandmother who had taken ill, I did use magnesium topically for her while she was in the hospital, and it helped comfort her while she had to stay in that bed. But somehow I twisted my knee at the airport and was dealing with a great deal of pain. And immediately, I have to say as well, immediately felt better when I applied it. I'm thankful that you introduced me to it.
That reminds me of that O.J. Simpson commercial in the airport.
I know you didn't think
Do you
of
remember?
that.
Like, Avis, I know it's kind of messed up.
Right.
But that's when he
Well,
was
I wasn't
the
hurdling
juice.
I wasn't hurdling any suitcase racks.
I don't even want to
anything
know
like
how you did that, but I'm glad you're better
Well,
now.
thank you so much.
All right, Ian.
And thank you, Ian.
Right, exactly. So, Ian, that's one of the great things that I use on a daily basis. Another one of your products is the Oceans Alive Pure Marine Phytoplankton that I have right here in my hand. I keep this on my desk. And this stuff it's just incredible. I mean, there's no other word to describe it. So can you tell everybody a little bit about what is marine phytoplankton?
Yeah, that's our core product, and it's been around for 9 years. So it's gone through 9 years of iterations of incredible improvements.
Yeah.
Marine phytoplankton is a functional, foundational, novel food. Sounds like a lot of words, but simply means that it is the core essence of the life on the planet. To know where it comes from, it makes up 50% of the green vegetation on the whole Earth, and it powers all of the life in the ocean and produces up to 10% of the oxygen we breathe. So that's a major role that it plays just to keep the planet alive.
Can you say that again? How much of the oxygen we breathe? Say that again.
90%.
90%, guys. Wow. Powerful.
Yeah. So what does that mean to us from a nutritional standpoint? It wouldn't mean much if they hadn't done a massive amount of study. So over a 30-year period in Spain, they really focused on this. They have a university in Cadiz that has 100% focus on marine science. So they looked at every single strain that they could find. There's more than 40-some thousand strains in the world. And they were looking for profiles for use either industrially or within aquaculture or from a nutritional standpoint. They discovered there were 2 strains that were extremely beneficial and perfect match for the human nutritional profile. Yeah. And they began to, they did a lot of studies on that on a small scale. Then they realized, you can't harvest this stuff out of the ocean. You have to grow it on land. You have to create a perfectly pristine and natural environment so the marine phytoplankton believes it's in the spring bloom. And then it reproduces itself and brings forth the only nutrient in the world that people are going to get that carries every nutritional molecule known to man in all history. So, you're basically putting into your body something you've never experienced before when you do this, yeah. And your brain knows exactly what to do with every one of those molecules.
So personally, I've been using the marine phytoplankton right around the time you first put it out there for everybody, so this is getting close to 10 years being one of my favorite things in the world, and I'll just during the day. And by the way, now I've kind of built up it. The first time I had it, I was like, whoa, that's kind of intense, just a drop or two. And you kind of like taste the ocean, and it's so concentrated with nutrition. It's the deepest, darkest green I've ever seen in any type of food product. And it's oily, it has basically the full spectrum of omega-3, omega-6, omega-9 fatty acids, every protein, amino acid, every mineral, vitamin that you're going to find is going to be in one form or fashion in this marine phytoplankton. Very, very concentrated. Now, again, it's a small thing, but there's a lot there, right? There's a small thing, but there's a lot there. And this is basically my multivitamin. A lot of people will message me and ask me about multivitamins. This is what I use. This is my multivitamin, multi-mineral, multi-everything, and just getting that little bit of extra. And like you mentioned, we're talking about something that provides 90% of the air that we're breathing. We think that it's trees, right? Trees are awesome. Let's keep the forest going for sure. Don't want to lose those bad boys. But the marine phytoplankton is what's really providing the air that we're breathing right now. This is like a primordial, like ancient source of nutrition for every being on this planet, every species of life. This is how powerful this stuff is, and a little goes a long way. So Jade actually just additives to her water over here, and her water is looking kind of weird. But that's one way to get it in. That's a way that I'll do sometimes, or I'll just take it straight, or I'll actually drop it on some food. I know folks that have dropped it onto some like cashew ice cream and, do it like that. But it's just one of those great things to have as another health insurance. And, I don't want this to be just all about these different products. This is really about education, and I highly recommend people looking more into the marine phytoplankton. It's probably going to blow you away when you look at, just Google marine phytoplankton and cancer. Go to Dr. Google and look at that and just kind of be in awe at all the research and anecdotal evidence of its efficacy in helping people to heal from that condition. But one of the things that I want to talk about, Ian, is so what makes this product different than, say, some marine phytoplankton powder or some kind of like drink that they might find out there on the market?
Well, there's different various levels of types of marine phytoplankton. There's not many, but they are out there. And the powder is good. The powder, it needs to be very fresh before they consume it. And who knows how long it's been sitting on the shelf. It has a fairly short shelf life. Whereas the stabilized liquid marine phytoplankton has a shelf life that is at least 10 years. We put 3 years in the bottle because there's laws in the land that, we're not going to put 10 years on it. But we already know that it'll last that long. And it's how it's stabilized. If you find a fruit drink with some in there, there's basically nothing in that. I don't think there's going to be any benefit there. But when you mentioned multivitamin, when you look at going, we use the analogy of going to a symphony. Would you like to go to the symphony and have every single musician, every person playing an instrument, playing perfectly in tune, all together in a beautiful storytelling and music? Or would you rather have one violinist, one person over here on the bass, one on the cello, all these different people playing one note at a time where you have to begin to figure it out? Okay, so when you flood your body with the broadest spectrum of nutritional molecules that you can find on the planet, and it comes in all at the same time, the way it was created, your brain knows exactly what to do with that because it sees the entire story unfolding nutritionally for you all at the same time. It doesn't have to figure it out. It just knows what to do. Just like when you go to the symphony, you understand the story by the time it's over, because the conductor and the composer are synchronized with the entire orchestra, and you're there to be guided. So we don't want to have to, I take this vitamin and then I get this one. Well, that's not normal, but okay, so what am I supposed to do with this? And that's where we run into these issues.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to have every single taste at a restaurant of every different food and all the different flavors. You want to just get all the flavors at once, the ambiance of the whole, synchronicity of the whole thing. So that's really where this thing shines so bright, because it's a functional, foundational nutrient.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for a lot of people hearing this, when they hear plankton, they're probably thinking of SpongeBob, but this is far greater, far bigger, far more important. And like I mentioned, this is a big part of what's going on the planet, this phytoplankton. And so another thing that makes this product different from some of the other stuff you might find out there is it's called Oceans Alive, right? Oceans Alive for a reason. And can you talk a little bit about that? So how is this actually alive?
So it's like going into your garden and you harvest your salad from your garden, from your organic, beautiful garden, and you eat it within 15 minutes. The life energy that is within the greens or the vegetables, whatever you're consuming, is fully vibrant at that point. And you don't want to have something that's sat in the grocery store for 2 weeks.
Yes.
There's a big difference. So you want that life energy signature to be there for you. So what has happened with the Oceans Alive is that it has a totally live marine phytoplankton cell being harvested in the quadrillions to the power of quadrillions. And it's spun into a paste. It could be re-inoculated and continue growing. Instead of that, it is instantly placed into a highly concentrated, purified sea mineral solution that is a natural way, with no chemicals, heat, or preservatives, to instantly stabilize that green food and keep it in exactly that condition for, like I said, minimum 10 years. So you can take a bottle 2 years later, 3 years later, open it up, it smells, looks, and tastes the same as the day it went in. And it's literally done not in 15 minutes, within just a minute or two at the most from the time of harvest. And that will sit there living. It would sit there at least for an hour living, right, in the cool temperature of the place where they're processing everything. But within a minute to 2 minutes, it's already in solution and completely stabilized. So the life energy is 100% contained inside those cells, just waiting for you to consume it. The moment you consume it, it releases it just as if you just freshly harvested it out of your garden.
Yeah, awesome. So this is also the big deal breaker for me when it comes to vitamin supplements and things, like Centrum or whatever you're going to find on store shelves. When we're looking for somebody, trying to get a vitamin, trying to get that health insurance, is that it's not alive. In no shape or fashion is it alive. This is highly processed, synthetic. This is actually a living thing, and you have this patented process that you use to keep this stuff. This is a living solution, a living supplement, and I think you said it's like suspended animation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly the terminology.
Yeah, that sounds like some space level stuff, but it is. It's taking this ancient food source and putting it together with our new technology, and it's really fascinating, and I love it. This is something that I give to my kids, that I use. And again, guys, this isn't about you hopping out and running trying to invest money to get these products, but it's just about getting yourself educated. And I definitely recommend them. These are things I use myself. And so Ian, with the activation products, having so many amazing things, but the flagship thing being the marine phytoplankton. Is there something that you're going to do for us for the phytoplankton as well? And by the way, guys, I did not ask him about this beforehand. So Ian, tell me something good.
Yeah, so it's the same deal in this one. It's a 10% discount when they use the link oceansalive.com/model. And we have some great deals for people on that, because we really want people to get the maximum return on whatever they're investing in. It's not just about investing money. People invest their time and energy, which is far more valuable than the money. The money is just something like the fuel in the tank that you're going to put in your car to get somewhere. But it's really knowing where to put that fuel to use and which is the best fuel to get. And there is no question, when people do their due diligence on this, they will find that there is nothing that will come even close to what the benefits are going to come to them individually for their health by putting this. It's an original heirloom, How many things are you going to find that are original heirloom? It will help your body repair from GMO damage, because we all get a certain amount of GMO in our system, whether we like it or not, because it sneaks in. I mean, we try not to, right? But it sneaks in if we're not super aware. And this will actually allow your body to get the perfect, genetically selected, genetically improved through nature only nutrient that'll go deep into the DNA and give your body the material to go, yeah, we're going to resynchronize back to our original DNA.
Awesome. Guys, if you want to geek out more with Ian, and I know you could tell he will go deep into those territories, definitely check him out. He's out there on social media. So what, are you on like Twitter and Facebook, right?
Yeah, we're not real strong in social media because we have a very large list that gets mailed to, and we have a very large support audience that mails private emails. So most of it, now we're going to get better on social media, but we're not hugely out there yet. But you can find me. I'm there. Okay. You can look up Potions Live on Facebook and Activation Products and, the Ease Magnesium. We're there.
Awesome. So if you guys, again, want to get connected with Ian, definitely head over and check out the links that he mentioned. And I appreciate you, Ian. I just want to thank you so much for your dedication to getting better, to improving how you're being of service to other people, and also how you're helping people to be of greater service to themselves and to other people. And you're just, you're one in a million, man. So I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing. And I count it a privilege to be on your podcast, Shawn. You're really connecting with people and bringing the top level info. So this is really cool. I appreciate all that you're doing for us.
Awesome, man. I received that. Thank you so much, Ian. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to this bonus episode of the Model Health Show with my good friend Ian Clark and the beautiful Jade Harrell. We hope that you have an amazing day, and we hope also that you just get yourself a little bit more educated about the marine phytoplankton. I mean, just do some Googling and check it out. It's really fascinating stuff. This is just more things to add to your superhero utility belt, right? So you can be like Batman.
be like Shawn.
Be like Batman. Right? And so you can really up-level your game, and also definitely check out and really dig into the benefits of magnesium and how important this is. This could be a game-changing supplement for you, a game-changing thing that you do with your diet to improve your health, your vitality, your bone health, your brain health, your circulation. It's really, really important stuff. So I hope that you got a lot of value out of this today. I appreciate you so much. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.